Hi, this is Alana James, and I'm going to quickly show you some ways to use EndNote in order to enhance a doctoral lit review. A couple of things. If you look at a basic EndNote catalog file, you'll want to make sure you see a couple of things. First, that if you're using APA, that it says American Psychologist in this field. Second, that you've broken your in this case 564 references into some custom groups that loosely sort them into the topics or interests that caused you to collect those references. You'll also notice that some of the references have a paperclip on them, and those will almost always be electronic references where there's a PDF file. So this is held in a folder on my desktop that's called EndNote PDFs, so that when if I have to change computers, I have all my PDF files that link to this in the same folder. Most of us know EndNote and use it most often because of the Cite While You Write. Real simply, you put your cursor in a place, and either in Word or with the new version in Open, you put your cursor in, you tell it to insert the citations that you have highlighted in your EndNote catalog. It not only correctly formats your citations for you, but it gives you a reference list. To the extent that if you use later on, go back and put something in by the same author, same year, it will immediately put in all your A's and B's for you. Very handy for that, but that's really not all there is to EndNote. For a review of literature, chapter 2 in a dissertation, or something that we write in almost all research, the important things are that we are telling our audience how we understand the panorama of our topic, what subtopics we think are most important, especially to the research that we intend to do, and of course if there are any holes between the understanding and what's written about it. All of this then logically leads us to our methodology. Most people read, everybody reads like this: Heifetz wrote this. And I might pick out this idea, this idea, and this idea in Heifetz. Later on I read Benden, and I notice that there's something similar here, he's got some new ideas here, etc. But we read like this from left to right, and that's the way we set up our EndNote catalog. However, we're writing a lit review that requires us to discuss the topics, the things that these people have in common, as though it's from up and down. So how do we sort our EndNote catalog or set it up in such a way that we get those subtopics? Remember, what we're after is the panorama of the topic, the subtopic, and the current holes. Well, we do that through, first off, custom groups. So one of the things that I study is the future of education. When I click on future of education, I get these 11 resources. That's good. That gets me started. I at least get to know that when I'm talking about this subject, these are the people I've collected so far. But how do I easily understand what they said? Well, let me pull open one of these databases, Christensen, and while I do, let me just point out at the top, these are the fields that actually end up in the reference list. I hear a lot of graduate students complain that, oh, I can't get it to download. EndNote doesn't work very well because it doesn't download. Well, what I think is that it takes so little time to fill in these fields that unless I'm going to use a database a lot, it's faster for me to fill in the fields and get the reference on order than it is to try to figure out how to work with that particular database. Of course, if I'm going to be there a long time or it's my everyday library, then that's another situation. But every database downloads differently, so the interaction with EndNote differs. Just depends on what you need to learn. This is the bottom. This is the important part. of your database. It's the bottom of the same field. And the important fields are research notes, notes, abstract, and keywords. Some of these came in, I use the Library of Congress a lot, some of these imported directly from the Library of Congress. But typically the research notes are where I write what was important to me about the topic. Now, this takes us to how you sort what you know. So remember, I had focused on the future of education. I'd come up with 11 resources. But it's a long time since I read some of those. I don't remember what they say. So I go to Tools, pick out the tool that's called Subject Bibliography. When that pop-up screen comes up, looks like this, I highlight all the fields I just told you were the important ones. Then when I click OK, I get this list of phrases that come from those key fields, and I can quickly go through them and think, oh yeah, these are the basic concepts I thought were important in this particular thing. And if I click on any one of them, oh, what was that about and who said that? I click OK, and I get a specific quotation that is from, complete with the reference at the bottom. And if I need to print it, I can. That's one great way that EndNote helps us easily identify what is going on in our reference list. But we have to do the background work and get those fields filled in. Same thing here with smart groups. You make your own groups, you put your own titles, but sometimes later on you want to say, I wonder if I have any that connects this to this. So that's when smart groups come in. You go to groups, you create smart groups. Here's the pop-up screen. You have a choice of author, year, title, keywords, etc. They contain something, and you can put and or for. It's a basic search. So I created a smart group that asked whether or not I had a couple of key topics, and was able to find out that I had 3 that at least used those words. Helps me drill down what I know in my data, or what I have stored in my database, where I might need to go next. It's also important to notice at the bottom of your database, in this little bit of screen here, you have a search tab, and you can search all your references or any one of your fields over here with, again, the same kind of keyword search. So if I was, and this comes in handy when you have all these references, but curiosity is a very key component as we move forward to in the field of understanding education. How do we encourage curiosity? Well, I don't know if I have anything. It's a new interest. I don't know if I already have anything of it. So I looked at curiosity and found that I did in fact have 1 reference. All right, let's recap. While Cite While You Write is good, sorting the topics into groups and subgroups is good. Smart groups helps you identify what you have that you may not have. The subject bibliography helps you identify what you have already learned about your topic. This is really key for when you start writing your lit review. And don't forget to use searches. I hope this is helpful. If you need more information or you want to participate in the larger conversation, this is the website, reinventinglife.org. There's a doctoral participatory group. There are tools under the Tools tab, and I invite you to set up your own special interest group with other doctoral students across universities. Thanks so much.